familiar with him. I don't think he needs any formal introduction as such. He will be talking on Satsang, a pillar of spirituality. Ramesh, as you may know, has a postgraduate degree in automotive styling, in automotive design, isn't it?
Yes.
From Coventry University in England. And he has a keen interest in spiritual matters and spirituality. So he participates and perhaps even organizes satsangs and things like that, right? He
Yes,
actively
yes.
participates in spiritual discourses and meetings, and he's even given a talk previously for the Thursday satsang. So I'm happy to welcome you once again, Ramesh, and maybe you can formally introduce yourself.
Thank you, Deepti.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think me being a part of this School of Ancient Wisdom Satsang family, almost all of you would know, those who are present today. But for those who don't know, I'm user experience industrial and automotive designer by qualification and profession. I've been in the industry for a while in various capacities. Right now, I'm a consultant with Kubera Tech. And I'm also seeking, I've been a seeker from 1992, I should say. And that is what kind of led me to the School of Ancient Wisdom. Right. So on to the topic today. This was a topic that I did think about of what can we choose, which is relevant for all of us as a group of seekers. The topic that came up really was satsang, a pillar of spirituality, and that really is the essence, I think, behind what we do every week when we come to the School of Ancient Wisdom satsangs, and indeed every other satsang. So what I'll do now is I'll just share my screen. Please let me know if you can see. Is my screen visible? Thank you. So when I look at this picture, it really inspires me because I have had the good fortune of associating with so many wonderful souls who have guided me and who have guided all of us. I think we'll all share this experience, this feeling that we've all been guided by wonderful souls through our years of seeking. And it puts us in touch with something, it puts us in touch with a very basic truth. Right. So what we will be talking about today basically is we start off with connecting with our higher self, in a manner of speaking. And then we go on to what we mean by satsang and spirituality. And then we also would like to hear from you all, what a satsang means for you, because it's not just about hearing, but it's also about more importantly, it's about the experience and what it has meant for each one of us and our spiritual growth. And then we will go on to an experience of this Sat Sang with a meditation by Dr. Indra Bangarji, who's been another old member of our Ancient Wisdom Satsang family. And then we'll also wind it up with a discussion, a question and answer session, also a sharing session. So that's how today's program is stacked up. Today's satsang is stacked up.
Give them something, no, and close the door. Dogs.
And for those who have
Yeah, they'll start scratching.
Okay. Maharji and others who have inadvertently turned on their audio, please turn the audio off. Thank you. Right. Now, this is a small little exercise. This is it looks like a very random image. What we'd like to do is we've all just come in from various aspects of our day to day. Our mind may be all over the place, it may not be. But this is a little delightful exercise which we can do. What you see on the screen in front of you, I presume you're seeing just the image. with a title on the top saying Transition into the Inner World. So please look at those 4 dots in the center of this, what looks like a random image. Please sit straight before we do anything more. Please sit straight with your back, neck, and head aligned. It's always nice to be in that position to connect with our higher selves. And look at those 4 dots and just keep looking at those 4 dots. We'll do that for at least a minute. That's important. As you keep looking at the 4 dots, for some of us, the picture might start appearing a little 3D. Maybe the black portion might seem like a layer behind the white portion. That's perfectly fine. Just keep looking only at the 4 dots. You don't have to look at anything else. For some, you might find the white edges seem to glow. For others, certain colors may be visible on the fringes. It doesn't matter. It's all well. Just bring your focus back to the 4 dots. If your eyes water, so blink and get back to the 4 dots. In doing so, your mind is now calmer and more still. Now that we're reaching the minute mark, look up suddenly at the wall in front of you, a plain wall or any plain surface, and just blink. What do you see? You might see a negative of that image. You might see a face of a guru, of Jesus, of a wise being. Think of this being as a personification of your higher self, of your guide, of your guru, of your Ishtadeva. It could be anything, any source of guidance. While you do that, please pay attention. You can even close your eyes now while I do the Guru Stuti, which calls upon our higher self to guide us through the satsang so that we may connect with the maximum value in the satsangs to come as we seek self-realization. Akhandamandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hari Om. Now you may all have experienced a certain level of stillness. Our minds and our beings are now in a different space compared to where it was at the beginning of the satsang. May experience a certain quietude, a certain being aware of this moment. This, in essence, is a space that we all seek to share when we come to any satsang. Satsangs are oftentimes an experience where we might have heard the same things earlier. May I request audio to be turned off, please?
Not able to hear you, Ramesh.
Yeah. I can use some other audio. Can I request everybody to turn their mics off, please? Thank you. Am I audible now? Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. So now satsangs are a place where we come to again and again. And many times we have heard these things over and over again. So why do we have to come to satsangs again? And coming once or twice or a few times should be enough, right? Is what we might normally think. But if you really look at it, it's not for just the knowledge that we come to satsangs. It is to share a space where we all experience a beautiful aspect of ourselves. Because whatever we see around us, we are told, is a reflection of what is there inside us. We have an outer world that we experience daily, and we also have an inner world that we also experience, or we may not experience. But we do have that inner world, which is a beautiful place, which all of us would have experienced when we read a lovely book, or when we listen to beautiful music, or we see lovely pieces of art. Could be many, many things to trigger off that experience of the inner world. But it is that experience that we revisit that makes us a better person. Now, when we talk about satsang being a pillar of spirituality, let us kind of align with what spirituality may mean. Well, Oxford Dictionary says the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. Something similar from the Cambridge Dictionary, the quality that involves deep feelings and beliefs of a religious nature rather than the physical parts of life. Well, as satsangis, we know that spirituality, while there is an overlap with religion, may be quite different from it. It is a personal experience rather than a group or a shared experience. It could be also a shared experience too. But in essence, spirituality that we talk about here is the connection with who we are at the core, in essence, that we are a spirit soul having a human experience and being aware of this self that is having that human experience. That is what I suppose we all refer to as spirituality in various connotations. The spirituality refers to a belief beyond religion that one may practice to reach a higher existence. And a spiritual journey for each person is different, but the end result is the same, one of self-realization. And spirituality is different from religion. Well, that is not entirely true, because there are overlaps. Religions are normally spawned by a great spiritual master who is very aware of the self, and their teachings, which is very pertinent to people of that particular time frame, have been then recorded and preached and practiced. So they do have relevance, but there is an overlap with religion, but it also can be quite different. So spirituality can significantly influence a person's decision-making process. I think we all know that, and we're going to find out further down in the satsang today on how will each of us share. So science and spirituality differ in one key aspect, they say over here. I got this from online, but I'm not. There are certain points that I'm going to fill in. So science focuses on data and facts, while spirituality focuses on embracing the unknown. Now, what I understand is that science is something that looks at data and facts based on the five senses. If you look at every scientific instrument, it expands either your sight or your hearing or your sense of smell, touch, taste. And of course, when we discovered radio waves and so on, we started stepping into the unknown, but it was still measurable by instruments that pertain to the physical realm. However, spirituality is not just embracing the unknown. While it does that, it is also actually a science at a very high level, which uses multiple inputs from sensors that are beyond the five senses. That is where science has not yet been able to explain many of the spiritual phenomena, like your multiple koshas and so on. Well, loving yourself and being self-aware is also one of the most adopted ways of becoming more spiritual. So this is part of what we mean when we say spirituality. Before I go on to the definition of satsang, I want to open the discussion now to our satsangis. We have 14 satsangis here today. So could anyone, would you all like to come forward and share, why do you attend satsangs? It'll also be nice to see your video. If you could turn the video on, that would be nice. If you don't want to, that's all right. That's also okay. But we'd love to hear from you. Please do share. Why do you attend satsangs? Malti ji? We can't hear you. You'll have to just turn your audio on. Malti ji, just turn the audio on, please. We can't hear you. Your audio is off. You're on mute.
Okay, now I've unmuted myself.
Yes.
Okay, so what I meant to say is that, we know you very well. Ramesh, it's nice that you're on the podium, literally, in a way, giving us this talk. I've been listening to you from the last 2-3 minutes only. I joined a bit late. But when you put this question about why we like satsangs and why we attend it, the only thing I can really think of at the spur of the moment is usually at a satsang, where there are lots of like-minded people in a way that they've come for a certain purpose to listen on perhaps the topic of the day which attracted them to come there, or maybe they want to learn a little more on that particular topic. So it's a sort of a knowledge based thing. Plus, it educates us in the sense we learn more literally, and also we learn many points that we think we already know. It adds to the richness. So that is one reason why most people do attend satsang, and we like it. That's it.
Thank you, Malti ji.
Yeah.
That was very nice. Now, how about you, Indraji or Veena? Hi, Veena. Nice to see you after a long time.
So I would like to say, Ramesh,
Yes, please.
going back to what we used to attend with Ma Manize on Thursdays, it also gave us a deeper insight into some of those subjects or topics. And what I currently miss is that one sense of direction was also there. You are going in some particular direction and deeper into subjects. But now it is more diversified, and there are various topics. It become more like a la carte rather than focused going into. Of course, maybe now
You're on mute, Jankiramji, you're on mute. Could you unmute yourself, Jankiramji?
Go in grow in a direction and keep growing more and deeper.
Got it. Got it, Jankiram. Thank you for sharing. Veena, you wanted to say something? Please unmute.
I believe I'm looking at what shall we say, not non-manifested, but which is known and recognized. We know there's a spiritual part of us which we.
Sorry, lost you there. Is it me or is it? I think you're frozen at the moment. Your screen is frozen. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, it's an experience which could be, you could call it soul, or you could call it the higher self. But, you could call it's not religion, it's an awareness that we get of ourselves, like you said. And ultimately, Satsang, Sat means truth. So we are looking at Satya, which is the truth, and Sang is like-minded people. So Satsang is people who are looking in quest of the truth about themselves, about many things. 90%, you may know 99%. There's still that 1% that we seek. And so that happens when we come together and discuss these things and open up a lot of areas, shall we say, which we would not really, which would enlighten us to a great extent. And so Satsang, I enjoy Satsang because one, it's like-minded people. Two, you're talking about something which I really dearly, dearly love to hear, the depths of life. Life is not only about things, possessions, body, sickness, and I've been to, shall I say, 2 or 3 times I've been through a near-death experience. And that opened up many vistas. There was a time when I felt, okay, I literally saw something that was very, very deep. And that was very enlightening. It was very beautiful. So that is what satsang to me means. Being in the sangha of people who are looking for the same thing, a quest. Like I said, you may know 90%, 99%, but still there's always something that we're seeking to feel complete. The body is not the only thing, and whatever we are doing is not the only thing. Possessions are not the only thing. All these are manifest. This is something unmanifest, but we seek because when we come closer to it, we feel more complete. So after a session of satsang, you're closer to being more complete with yourself, with the universe, and it's not to do with, it's not a material thing, it's an unmanifest thing. So satsang gives me joy, peace, for lack of better words. I only feel complete and fulfilled, shall I say. The other word I can think of is fulfilled. So that is what satsang means to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Veena. Anybody else? Deepti, would you like to tell us why you come to the satsangs?
To learn, gain more spiritual knowledge. Science finds, like you said, that like spirituality. Research has found in the field of positive psychology, where research has found that spirituality matters, religion and spirituality matter in life. They're significant. So for your overall development, and spirituality is among the main things. The spiritual growth is among the main types of growth. And I feel like I went through much pain in my life because I ignored my spiritual side. So to strengthen my spiritual side, to gain more spiritual knowledge, there's always something you can take away. From every satsang, there's something you can learn. So, yeah, that's my reason. Satsang is a nice way to come together here on like a virtual satsang. So many people for free, they are gaining spiritual gyan about various things from eminent speakers and well qualified and experienced, professionals who are well versed in their respective fields, with regard to spirituality. So, those are the reasons.
Thank you. Thanks, Deepti.
Welcome.
Right. So, Indraji, would you like to?
Yeah. For me, attending satsangs is a space where I'm in the company of truth seekers And I just love the topic that satsang, a pillar to spirituality. So for me, spirituality is when my spirit is free of all duality. And in a sense, spirituality to me is in search of my own true self. So in the company, in a satsang, in the company of truth seekers, it makes the path very joyful and very simple and easy to find our true self because it is a circle of truth and trust, which empowers, which makes it even more simpler to connect. As you've written, connecting the dots, then I get insights into my own truths when we all can share our experiences and learn from each other, uplifting each other to be in that frequency and be on the path of Satyamarg.
Thank you so much, Indraji. And thank you all for sharing. When each person spoke, it felt like one part of me spoke, because there's one part of me which resonates with what each one of you have said. So that is where, there is a very different quality to meeting people in this kind of a space compared to other regular social and other official meetings that we have in life in general. And as we grow spiritually, we'll find that such kind of experiences will start pervading in all areas. So maybe that's the essence of why we meet and why we come to satsangs. And talking about spirituality, the various signs are, of course, of feeling peaceful, avoiding negative people and behavior patterns that we ourselves might have, feeling more compassion and positivity towards ourselves and others, asking questions about life and death, which are not a normal, area of topic for most of our gatherings, finding a purpose, a meaning and purpose in life, and being hopeful when things are challenging. So that, like Deepti was saying, yes, it's true. Many times a satsang can be like a free counseling session where you counsel yourself through others' voices. When you hear the empowering thought streams that we have that are so different from the normal noise that we get in normal parlance in the material world, it can make a big difference. Believing that life is sacred, and that is something I think is the strong point of Bharat, of India, because many of our interactions, many of our practices practice reverence. Like if you look at how we respect our elders or teachers, even if it may seem like it's waning at the moment slightly, but India still punches far above the general average worldwide when it comes to the experience of reverence. Because when we respect God in that particular manner, when we approach our prayers, whatever be the denomination, when we approach our elders in that particular way, when we present ourselves socially, there is a certain amount of innate reverence that makes life, the experience of life, that much more sacred. Having a greater level of empathy and intuition, that definitely is something that I have experienced after being starting my seeking from 1992 onwards. Feeling at peace while being alone. How many of us can really, be in a mona or silence without? You've heard so many people saying, I'm just going crazy. That's because when you're really being with yourself, and you kind of experience firsthand what you are within. So the more we purify ourselves, the higher the consciousness, the easier it is for us to be with ourselves. And naturally, when you are able to be with yourself, you will have a stronger sense of self-worth. I'm sure all of us have grown in the ability to really respect ourselves because we are putting in the efforts to be the best version of ourselves, honestly and genuinely, and to acknowledge our failings and to rise above and to pull ourselves up, and believing that life is sacred. So now, as Veena was mentioning, Sat Sangha. So Sat is the truth, as we all know it, and Sangha is a confluence or being in the company. My little one is coming over. They're saying Sangha. He's very happy to hear the word. So in the company of truth. My 7-year-old son has been very intrigued and curious as I was making this presentation today. He wanted to experience some aspects of it, like that guru aspect and other aspects. And I think this kind of curiosity is how we touch each other invisibly. That's the power of truth. As seekers, we will find that we touch those around us, our loved ones, our community members, our friends, in this manner. And truth is very powerful in that way, where we can also identify our own and accept our own shortcomings and failings, and therefore get a handle of how to overcome it. And in the company of truth, as this little visual here will demonstrate, um, the invisible aspect that is not seen through the five senses, through most of our equipment, scientific research equipment, is what you see over here. For example, this is visualized by somebody who has a third eye open, where in a collective grouping of people who come to seek the truth, the ability to distinguish and to experience, even for a brief moment, that truth becomes much stronger, because there is a divine Chaitanya or divine light that actually envelops all of us, even if we are at the moment sitting in our homes physically quite far apart, but we are connected through this virtual meeting in a very powerful way, which is nearly as good as all of us sitting in the same room and experiencing the joys of this satsang, the sharing of the space of truth. So seekers get the benefit of divine energy from God or from the universal consciousness, whatever you might individually choose to believe in, when you come to a satsang. And why did I choose this picture, which has the text truth composed of small little letters of lies? Well, I chose it because, while we all speak about the good, we all speak about being sattvic. But this is a world which is a school where we all grow and become better people. And the best way to really become better people is when we experience the not so good, the unloving, the unkind, because through those experiences we begin to distinguish and appreciate the values, and have the attitude of gratitude for all those wonderful higher divine qualities. And the so-called bad is juxtaposed next to the so-called good, because that is the only way in which we can learn our lessons and move ahead in life. Through change and through contrast, it becomes easier to see the truth. So that is why I chose that picture, that the so-called positive and the so-called negatives are very much present on earth, because this is a school, a place where we have the freedom of choice to make the decisions on whether we want to choose a dharmic path or an adharmic path. And for as long as it is required, we might choose the adharmic path also to solidify background reference before we choose the dharmic path. And that is also very important for our experiences through the various lives that we go through on this. So in the company of the truth, as you can see here, all of us sitting in a circle, as we know at the School of Ancient Wisdom. The invisible aspect is this divine positivity, while being in the company of truth. The amount of positivity received by each seeker, however, is of course dependent on the level of spiritual awareness of each individual seeker. But whatever be the level of awareness, we do get touched by it, and the seeds are planted, and that's very important. And that is why we come to satsangs again and again, to re-energize and raise our consciousness. Now, we talk about pillars of spirituality. There are multiple definitions, and multiple different people have a huge variety in the number of pillars, types of pillars. But these four simple ones stood out for me, so I just picked this image up. One is, of course, Satsang, the association of truth seekers, of spiritual people. And the other pillars could be spiritual practices like meditation. Chanting is one form of meditation. Fasting is a way to I have fasted, and and if done correctly, there is a correct approach, and there is a probably a not so empowering or incorrect approach to fasting also. But it does put you in touch with an ability to delink yourself from um, uh, excessive engagement with the material aspect of life. It just puts you one step away from that if you prepare yourself correctly, mind, body, and spirit, and then get into the fast. The preparation is important. Offering food to the Lord. Okay, yeah, this is a religious practice, but the idea is that the esoteric and spiritual reasons behind these activities are that whatever we do on a daily basis, if we surrender to the divine, to the higher consciousness, that consciousness, like what we did earlier today when we thought of the Guru and asked for the Guru's guidance, that consciousness is invited. We invite that consciousness to take over and guide us. So, sadhana practices are also very important. I'm saying this to myself as I speak to all of us here because I know that I have to um, do a lot more to strengthen my daily practices, but I'm aware of it and I'm working on it. And the process of working on it itself is part of sadhana. Seva. Now, when we come together here, what happens? I see wonderful people in front of me. I see good people. I see Indraji, I see Deepti, I see Veena, I see Janaki Ramji, Malti ji, a lot of others here. Just a few names I'm mentioning. But I see a lot of good people, and it's so nice to come and sit in a company of loving, good, kind people, because they, in some ways, when we meet them, when we have these kind and loving exchanges and experiences, we are strengthening that aspect of us inside, because we do have the white wolf and the black wolf, so to speak. I'm using this figuratively, nothing to do with his skin color. But we do have these two in our minds, and it depends. Do we want to feed the white wolf, as the Red Indians would say, or do we want to feed the black wolf? The white wolf is dharmic, the black wolf is adharmic. So, figurative speech there. But when we meet these wonderful people in the satsangs, we also focus on the white wolves in each one of us. And the white wolf within us, the dharmic aspects, the sattvic aspects within us become stronger. And therefore, if we go out, and even by coming to a satsang, we're serving our community. Because research has shown in a transcendental meditation program that was conducted in Chicago or New York, that when the satsang met repeatedly over a period of, I think, 2 to 3 months, they found that crime and murder and rape and all that in that particular region, a part of the city, was noticeably lesser. And this is police data that is shown. So just coming to satsang itself is a save. But in addition, we must remember that we are part of a larger group of souls. We're part of a larger consciousness. We are all little bits and pieces of that larger consciousness. And if we serve others in whatever way, be it our time, be it our money, be it our love, but if we serve others, at least for some part of the day or week, that is one of the pillars of spiritual life, because it really becomes like spirituality in action. All the buttons are pushed, and we have to raise our consciousness higher to be able to operate well within our own family, for example, as opposed to a yogi living in a cave. So it's that karma yoga aspect is definitely a very powerful aspect of spiritual life. And of course, good behavior, be kind, be good. We've heard this so often, be sattvic. Because as we move and operate from the mode of goodness, gradually our intuition and our higher voice becomes more audible, and we get the guidance from our higher selves. And we move into what they call Daiva Balam, or the intuitive self, where the guidance of the higher takes over us in our actions, and we become gradually more selfless and move towards upliftment of everybody. How to become more spiritual, of course, dedicating, as we discussed just now, seva, reading spiritual books of spiritual practices, practicing mindfulness, being aware of all your actions every day at every moment, spending some time alone, which is definitely a very good thing, and of course, being grateful. Right. Now, we all know the benefits of satsangs. Basically, we get divine consciousness, Chaitanya, and the notion of realization of God becomes more concrete. You can say God, or you can say self-realization, because ultimately, who we call God, or the universal consciousness, is probably our source. We are all made of that, substance, we can say, that divine substance. And the notion of realizing that becomes more and more concrete. So the satsang benefits are that we associate with those who support self-realization. Spirituality, as it says over here, is that we experience more compassion, we improve social connections, we're better at coping with stress, we're happier, and we feel more inclined towards gratitude and develop positive relationships, not just with others, but with ourselves, and also not just with human beings, but with nature as well, which is very important. And as we associate with those, satsang benefits are that we associate. They say it's very important that you give love to everybody. You do not discriminate when you're giving love to even people who you consider, repulsive. But we still give love. We do not discriminate. But when it comes to association, we must discriminate. At least initially, when we are spiritual seekers, when we're beginning to seek, it's good for us to associate with those who are spiritually more advanced and spend time in that company, because our subtle bodies interact, and there is an energy interchange there. We learn sattvic practices, we heal. These are other satsang benefits. We connect with our own higher self or God. When in the beginning, when we did that exercise with that visual optical illusion, the reason why I did that was because when we look at that image and we don't even know, it doesn't make any sense to us, and we can focus on those 4 dots, we still our minds. Then when we look at a blank wall, that negative, that visual negative starts presenting itself on the wall, and then you see a beautiful face of a wise one, of Jesus or of a guru. Each person his own. But in doing so, the intention was to connect with your guru, with your guide, or with your higher self. So that happens in many different ways through these satsangs. And we have brief moments of when we hear the guidance, and we practice. The idea is to practice on how to extend those moments. It supports the cleansing of our bad karmas from previous lives, for those who do believe in multiple lives. In very many ways. I remember when I was exposed to transcendental meditation, they would tell us that the mind and body are so interconnected that the moment we relax the body, the mind also relaxes. And when the mind relaxes, just like how from deep within the ocean, still waters, things start floating up, that's how thoughts start floating up to the surface. As we meditate, as we relax, and focus on our breathing, or we start chanting, our mind starts wandering. And what happens is the very same thoughts that come to disturb us are actually part of our prarabdha karma, believe it or not. And when that happens, if you get back to your meditation, if you get back to your mantra or your stillness, observing your breathing, in the process, you will start gently washing away those karmas. It's an excellent way of cleansing bad karmas. That's just one of the techniques. There are many techniques. I'm sure you would all be exposed to some or more. And then you, of course, connect with the support structure of wonderful people, which I'm sure you'd all agree with. I'm so happy to connect with you all. And you're one of the most precious human connections that I have. And I'm sure you all echo it too. Otherwise, why would we just, come here rather than doing something else? And the benefits of group meditation and prayer, I'm sure we've all experienced it. When we all sit together, like they say, when you're in a football stadium and you want Team India to win, if you have 100 people intending the same thing, it becomes a lot more powerful than just one person intending that India wins. Likewise, if we have here all of us, 12 of us sitting here and intending that no matter what, we will all support one another towards our goal of self-realization. Through our, of course, our satsang, that is the basic essence behind all our spiritual seeking. The benefit, the strength of the ability to do that becomes much stronger when we are together rather than if we're just alone. At least initially, before we develop our spiritual muscles, And so through the processes that we learn over here, through all the talks given here, the knowledge that comes in to support us, that comes in handy during our life, during the travails of our life, it develops our spiritual muscles, like the attitude of gratitude, being mindful, or living in the moment. So multiple benefits of satsangs, which I'm sure you're all aware of, but it's always good for us to just revisit them once more, to just strengthen them. So as I'm reading this out to you, my intention, my sankalpa is, may it strengthen these aspects in all of us who are present here today. And in doing so, let us go back from this satsang as a stronger person who's now more focused on how to accelerate our spiritual growth process. Now, before I continue, I would like to know from each one of you, if possible, because it's not just about the few voices who've spoken up, but we would like to know each individual person, in what way have you become a better person? In what way has it benefited you, these satsangs? What is the difference now compared to how it was before you came to these satsangs? This will put us in touch from a material and also non-material plane, what satsangs, the power of satsangs. Could you please share? For me, I can say for sure that I was a person who was extremely shy. I still remember when I started off, I had many of these notions about the world which were limiting, where every experience that was not good made me build up an extra a shield around me, where I lost my freedom to be myself in many areas. And I was able to unravel that and become more myself, the essence of who I am. And eventually, I'm moving towards dropping this identity, how to move beyond this identity. It has given me freedom in many areas of my life, and it has given me strength also. And whatever hurdles have come my way, it has helped me to develop the access to overcome them. Yeah. Made me a better and stronger person, definitely. How about you all? Could you please share? Could we hear some voices of those who have not spoken, and even otherwise those who have spoken too? What difference have satsangs made in your life? How has it benefited you? Because without benefit, you would not be coming back.
I can speak for myself
Please
that
do.
for me, it has helped me to live as my true self every moment. And that is how the satsangs, I keep feeling attracted to be in the company of truth seekers.
Thank you, Indraji. One voice of mine speaking out there to you.
Can I say something, Ramesh?
Please do, please do.
Yeah. In my case, I think going to satsang has helped me in many ways, actually, not one or two ways, but in many ways, because I've learned not only to be a better person, but most of the satsangs I have attended or listened to teach me the things which I might not have even thought about, but which has helped me definitely by practicing those things, like maybe meditation or maybe some new prayer. And it has given me a sense of belonging to a set of people like-minded to me. And it makes me feel good. Definitely, there is a sense of positive energy rise when I attend or when I'm in. Now, I feel great now, much greater than what I felt when I first just kind of logged in, because it's like we've all, in a way, interacted in such a way, or just been quiet and listened, and you feel you're part of oneness. There's sense of oneness that I felt. So that's how it is, and it's a good feeling, Ramesh and everybody else. Yeah,
Very
that's
much.
what I have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Malviji. Veena, were you going to say something?
I've learned to be without fear and pretense.
That's a big
I'm sending a message.
Ramesh,
Anji.
yeah, I just, it has, the satsangs and being with people has changed the way I think. My perception has changed a lot. And I accept each and every individual as me, myself. And I think everyone is on their own journey. So we have to, like you said, it is all karmic and all that. It is definitely a big growth period, and the association with all the satsangis has had a big impact. And I think an all-round development has taken place, and I'm more peaceful, more quieter now, and I'm happier too.
Wonderful, Meenaji. That's really nice. I think we can all echo this. Whatever each one has spoken is actually coming from all our hearts too. Because at the end of the day, I believe this space is something that will become India's next paradigm shift when it comes to education. Because this is what was also included in our old Gurukul systems and has actually been lost due to education based on the Industrial Revolution, which is entirely material. So this will be a paradigm shift. Can you imagine what it will mean if children are allowed to retain or to develop their spiritual aspects, where the best comes out from a much younger age and they go on to become leaders of communities? Definitely, this is a wonderful thing that we experienced. So due to paucity of time, now we'll have to go to the next section. But thank you all for sharing.
There seems to be something in the chat box, Ramesh.
Okay, I'll just take a look at that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Veena mentioned that I've learned to live without fear and pretense, which is really very powerful. I think these things, especially the pretense part of it, we all live with so many masks. We are in fact coached by life as we grow up through our childhood to present ourselves in a certain way to get the maximum personal benefit. But satsang does a lot to dismantle that very uncomfortable mask that sometimes puts us far from the truth. You know? And Srikanji said, loved your slide on the 4 pillars of spirituality. Thank you so much. I like that. True. True, the Gurukul system included moral science. It is just not moral science. In fact, it definitely includes that. But I feel it is, this earlier exposure to spirituality was basically a set of best practices. If you look at our Indian history, the way, for example, how the Vedas were followed, and then they were misused, and then they see Krishna came as Buddha and he dismantled the Vedas. And after dismantling the Vedas, he came and reinstated them as Shankaracharya. And that way, the universal consciousness came and reinstated the Vedas. So how they did that was by debate. You defeated the other person, and the system was so advanced that people would say that, fine, if your system has defeated my system in debate, then I will also want to follow your system, because I also want those best practices. I want the benefit of those best practices. And that is essentially what spirituality is. It is for the following of best practices that are always current, always modern, never outdated. Because change is the only constant, and that is the essence behind spiritual knowledge. That the way it is applied keeps changing as per what is relevant for those times. So now, to experience that connection with Sat, I would request Indraji, because her meditations have been really magical. So Indraji, the time now is 7:15. We easily have 15 to 20 minutes. So if you'd like to take us through a meditation, that will be wonderful. We can get in touch. Let's be aware that we will be getting in touch with our higher selves, whatever it may be, whatever your experiences may be. This will plant a seed. And if not right now in the moment, it will definitely activate itself in the days to come, and you will find that you will become a better person. And I have experience in Raji's meditations. They are really quite magical and uplifting. So now over to the essence of our satsangs, that where we have a heightened experience of Sat. Over to you, Raji.
So much, Ramesh, for inviting me and this privilege to share a few moments for the inner journey with all our satsangis here. And just to tell you, it's already 7:30, but is that all right? We'll just do a very short 10-minute meditation, keeping the time factor.
It is 7:15. We can have a 20-minute meditation.
No, it's 7:30.
7:30. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
So is it okay? Just a short 10-minute, just to go within.
Yes, certainly, Indraji.
All right, but thank you for this. So everyone, welcome to this divine sacred space, and allow your body to find its own comfort and gently begin to close your eyes, letting go of all doership outside and entering within as a witness, as an observer. Sakshi bhav, drishta bhav, karta bhav se bilkul bahar, और भीतर प्रवेश करें, enter within, connecting, entering into body awareness, body consciousness. Become aware of the body entering into stillness. Deeper, deeper, deeper into stillness. And slowly and gently ascend to a higher level of consciousness, to breath consciousness, becoming aware of the breath's flow through the nostrils. Become aware of your inner truths, your inner reality, as is experienced in present moment awareness. I am not the body. I observe the body. I am aware of all that is happening within the body. Allow all your deepest truths to emerge and reveal themselves to you in the stillness. I am not the breath. I am not the doer. The breath is happening on its own. Total awareness of all the inner truths in the moment. Raise your level of consciousness. Rise in awareness. Entering into thought consciousness. Becoming aware of every thought flowing by. Witness the truth. I am not my thoughts. The thoughts are happening on their own. Every thought arises, passes away. Total awareness of the inner truths, inner reality, as you walk the path of truth. Allowing all the truths, the deepest truths, hidden, denied, unknown, suppressed, unheard, all beginning to surface, emerge in this present moment. Close relationship, connection to truth. Allow the consciousness to expand itself to the subtle realms of emotions. And begin to see, experience the close relationship between thoughts emotions, the breath, and its manifestation on the body in the form of sensations. Total awareness of sensations happening in different parts of the body. Become aware of this inner reality as it manifests, is revealed, and connect to your heart. Enter into your own heart. And become aware of your core self, your higher self, your true self that knows all the truths. Gain insights and see closely all parts of yourself gathered here. The hidden, denied, unknown, suppressed, rejected parts of your own self. Begin to look closely and embrace each part and experience all integrated as one. Own up, embrace, integrate these parts of your being. And experience the wholeness, unity consciousness, all are one. As you rise in spirituality, total freedom from duality, all that there is unity, oneness. Breathe in this whole, complete, perfect self. Total beingness. Experience the energy, the space of just being who you are. being your true self, knowing I am perfect, whole, and complete as I am. Breathe in this new self. Breathe in the new you. Every moment you have the power to recreate yourself, reinvent yourself, and be a new you in every new moment. Integrate and breathe in this new self. And slowly and gently take a few deep conscious breaths. And become aware of your presence, your environment, and slowly and gently, in love and gratitude, as you feel ready, you may begin to open your eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Ramesh, for this privilege and for inviting me into this sacred space. Thank you.
Thank you, Indraji. And may we all gently rub our palms together, generate some heat before we open our eyes, and cup the warm palms over your eyeballs, gently transferring the heat from the hands to your eyes. Now cup your palms, create a gap, open your eyes in the darkness of your palms, and gently remove the palms finger by finger, gradually exposing your eyes to the light. Blink your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. Thank you so much, Indraji. That was really very nice.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I really feel like a better, stronger person now. Certainly within. Oh, I'm still kind of coming out of that space back to the satsang, which is very nice. Thank you so much, Indraji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would take your leave right now as I have to go.
Sure.
Thank you all once again.
Thank you for being with us and taking us through this.
Thank you, Ramesh, for this privilege and opportunity.
Thank you, Indraji. So before we wrap up this, we close the satsang today. Would anyone have any questions or any experiences that they would like to share? Would any of the satsangis have anything that they want to share? Thank you, Janaki Ramji. I read your comments. I'm glad that it was a useful session for you. I hope the satsang has been uplifting for others as well. So if there are no questions, just a minute. Go to the next slide. I'd like to close the session with a Loka Samasta. So let us all sit straight with the back neck and head aligned. Take a nice deep breath and let go. Let us remember all our loved ones, those in our communities that need prayers, who need healing to be sent to them. And also, let us send out healing and upliftment and wisdom, love and truth to the world at large, the places that require peace, that require compassion, kindness, and a higher consciousness to resolve many of the issues that are disturbing many around the world. Let this space of equipoise protect and guide them like a blanket of wisdom and divine light. Let us also connect with each other as we do the Loka Samasta. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sukhino Lokam. Om Tat Sat. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone. And God bless the self.
So, on behalf of the School of Ancient Wisdom, I'd like to thank Ramessh for his insightful and interesting talk on satsang as being a pillar of spirituality. So, thank you, Ramessh. And of course, you will continue to be associated with the School of Ancient Wisdom, and we look forward to many more such talks. Thanks again.
Thank you deeply. If Swati has any announcements, please do share the announcements, Swati. If not,
No, sir. As of now, nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you, and God bless you all. See you next Thursday.